Going to talk a little recruiting on today's show like we promised yesterday, and there's a big target that has limited his teams down to 6, and that's Tank Jones out of the St. Paul's High School in Mobile. We're going to get into that. Alabama going hard after a 4-star running back commitment to Miami, and they just will not give up on Javarian Mallerie, including sending coaches to visit him, and 4-star linebacker Malik Morris down to 6 schools, Bama being one of those. Why would he be important to this football program? We got a kickoff time, as you guys know, set up for Alabama and Florida State, and Bama's basketball transfer class announced. All that on today's show. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thank you guys for being here. Internet's good. Everything's a check. Let's get this thing going. Roll Tide. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie, welcome to the Bama Tailgate Show. We'll have Shank on later this week. You got me today, and we're going to talk about recruiting. I talk a little recruiting. It's interesting to me. It used to be the lifeblood of college football, and it used to matter a lot more to me than it does now because the transfer portal is kind of taking some of the punch out of high school recruiting. But with that said, it is still very important to be able to go out there and get the best players in the country to come and play at Alabama, right? And that's something that this program has done for a long time. That was something that Nick Saban made a habit of doing. When Nick Saban took over at Alabama, he looked at that Mobile area where he was able to get players when he was at LSU and come in and basically lock the state down. And one of the only concerns about Kalen DeBoer has been him and his staff's ability to recruit in-state, to value those in-state guys. Well, there's one player down there to me that you cannot miss on, and that is this guy right here, Anthony Tank Jones. He goes to the same high school that Jake Coker went to. On3 Recruits putting this information out. They do a great job over there. But here's his final 6 schools, right? Auburn, LSU, Michigan, North Carolina, Oregon, Texas A&M, and Alabama. Now, I've heard people say that Oregon's a much bigger player than On3 kind of has on their prediction indicator on their website, right? But they've got him as a 36.5% chance and leading the way to go to Auburn, Bama second at 26%, and then LSU third, Georgia and Texas A&M, and then they don't even have Oregon in the top 5. So things can change. But this is a 5-star guy. This is a difference maker, a man amongst boys playing. This is a guy that you at Alabama, the number 1 player in the state, you want to get. This sends a message that, you know what, nothing's changed without Nick Saban. And this is a player who is a difference maker in all sense of the word. I mean, he can do it all, right? So for Alabama, I really feel like this is the guy that they need to knock down. They have visited, they continue to visit, and they should. But this is a battle between Alabama and Auburn in the state. And then, like I said, schools like Oregon could come in with NIL money. Bama and Auburn both have had him visit 9 times, and LSU 4. But if Auburn starts getting these kind of guys, it's not going to be a good sign for Alabama. Still a long way to go in this recruiting process, and it looks like he's starting to get things ready to pick a date for his announcement. And those dates, those are important. But the thing about it is, even if he picks a school, things can change. I mean, what was it, Antonio Coleman last year that couldn't figure out where he wanted to go between Alabama and Auburn? So we'll see if that's still the case. But edge rusher, this class, big-time talent, 6'3 and a half, 235 pounds from St. Paul's, and a good kid at that, and someone that you would really love to see come to the University of Alabama in a battle that, is continuing to rage between, 4 SEC schools and then, a couple of these other schools there. So Bama continues to hang around here, but they should be the favorite in this one, and a player that they definitely want to knock down. You know what I love is when a guy is committed to another school and you're still not going to give up on him. And that's the case with Javarian Mallerie, the 4-star running back out of Miami. Well, but it's committed to Miami, but out of Florida. And Alabama saying, hey, guess what? The coaches like this guy. They aren't afraid to go after him. And, sometimes when, you have a player like this that's committed, you recruit them all the way to the end. There used to be a rule where, kind of an unwritten rule that when someone committed that, you backed off, but that's not how it works really anymore. He is committed to Miami. Coach Gillespie, a great Florida running back, now Bama's running back coach there, and then Courtney Morgan there as well, down there visiting him in West Boca. I love Boca, by the way. What a great place to live. And in the backyard of Miami. But Bama feels like he'd be a good fit for them. They're not afraid to make it perfectly clear that, hey, we're not giving up on you, and we're going to keep coming, and we'll see kind of how that breaks down. The fact that they're there too gives you the idea that there's a reason why, and you keep hearing them say, or people that are familiar with it, that he just feels like someone that would really fit the culture, and his abilities would fit the Alabama offense. And that they really want him. The other guy is Crowell out of Alabama. That's another guy that they definitely want to get. One of the top backs in the country. But they'll have some spots. You got to figure Jam Miller's going to be out. Dre Washington's going to be done. And who knows who else is coming or going. But it'd be interesting to see if they could get Mallory on the flip watch. I'd love to see it. Staying down there in Florida, Malik Morris has Alabama in his final 6 schools. A lot of people feel like this guy is going to end up with the Florida Gators. But there's Bama in there, Bama, Georgia, Florida, all SEC schools for Morris, linebacker. And when you're Alabama, you got to be relentless when it comes to those guys that you feel like can help the program. Morris, according to On3, is the 231st best player in the country. He's the 15th best linebacker and the 29th best player in Florida, which is a talent-rich state, right? But 6'1", 225, Lakeland High School. He is a linebacker that everybody really feels like he's going to end up at Florida. But when you see Alabama kind of start to push in there, Coach Robinson, obviously Coach Womack, those guys kind of have, again, put the word out that it doesn't matter where they think you're going to go. Bama's always done well in Florida, and they're continuing to kind of hammer that as well. Hey, guys, we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. The Azaleas, the Oaks, 2 amazing golf courses right there at Dancing Rabbit Golf Course. It's the Augusta you can play. Don't even need a membership, but I'm telling you, you're going to love the place. It is fantastic, and it's one of the best golf courses in the country, and it's right here in your backyard, an hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 hours and change from Birmingham. So take advantage of that as we go through the summertime. But they got Geyser Falls. It's a water park. Maybe put the kids over there while you're golfing. They've got a spa. Maybe the wife wants to do the spa thing. And then table games and some of the best slots in the entire South, if you're into that. Silver Star, Golden Moon Casino, Timeout Sports Lounge. I'm going to put some money down on Bama basketball to win the national championship, or maybe Bama football, which, by the way, has announced that it will kick off against Florida State, 2:30 ABC. So we're 108 days away from the kickoff of Alabama and Florida State. Bama at Florida State. This is a tough game for the Crimson Tide. I can't wait for it to start. You're talking about the Jake Coker Bowl, right? 2 iconic brands. These are the games that when you get the NCAA college football video game, you want to put on the same field together. What's it look like with Florida State and Alabama on the same field? So it's part of a grueling non-conference schedule for the Crimson Tide. Florida State wasn't that good last year. Doesn't mean they're going to be bad this year. This is coming a year from where they they were right on the verge of making the college football playoff. Obviously, Bama took their spot a couple years ago, but this is a game that we wanted to see. So we're going to get to see it. Maybe it's a college football playoff preview. You never know. Both of these teams could end up being really good. They definitely, Florida State missed on some transfer portal guys last year, but from what I've heard, they've spent a lot more time trying to figure that out, and they should be making a big step forward. And then, of course, Alabama with Coach Grubb there, a new offense, obviously an offensive line that should be pretty good, and a running attack that features Jam Miller. You feel like Alabama will go into this game with a lot to prove after the way they performed against Michigan in the bowl game last year. And I think all that stuff together, a great opening Saturday of college football, and I can't wait. All right, the final thing on today's show is that we've got the Alabama basketball transfer portal editions, and then this is becoming kind of a thing. Basketball, it's like they redo the roster every year. But Bama ended up with 4 players. Jahlil Bertha, who is a 6'5" guard, 190 pounds, out of Philadelphia. Miami was where he played last year, 7.1 points a game, 2.1 rebounds, an assist and change in the 31 games he had as a freshman. And he was one of 5 ACC freshmen that recorded 10-plus points, 5-plus rebounds, and 5-plus assists in last season. So not too bad. He was a McDonald's All-American as well, and a supreme athlete, someone that Nate Oates is really excited about. Another guy we're in Florida today a lot, aren't we? Taylor Bowen, who is a part of the Florida State program and a guy that was really one of their leaders down there, a 6'10", 205-pound forward. He came from Brewster Academy before he went to Florida State. You talk about last season, scored 329 points, had 233 rebounds, 32 assists, averaged 5.5 points and almost 4 boards a game for the Florida State Seminoles. So not too shabby. He's originally from Egypt, though, and then moved to Jericho, and then Brewster Academy. Nate Oates said that, he's got the size that they wanted, 7.2 wingspan, and obviously he's elite on the defensive end of the floor, and someone that Alabama's really, really pumped up to get. The third guy that has transferred to Alabama is Kenton Bristow, who is a forward at 6'8", 190 out of Holiday, Texas. Went to Tarleton State and Holiday High School, but he was the WAC Freshman of the Year. Scored over 11 points and had 4.5 boards per contest last year to go along with an assist and a half per game. Played in 23 games and had 19 starts. He is really just kind of coming out of the background and becoming one of those players. And Nate Oates talked about him growing 9 inches over the last 3 years. And then rounding it out, this was a guy that we were all really excited to have, 7-footer Noah Williamson, who is a center, 250 pounds, transferring from Bucknell, Ivy League Bucknell. 983 points and 161 assists in his 3 years at Bucknell. Averaged 17 and a half points in the Patriot League and was the player of the year last season. Big get for Alabama. He was born and raised in Lithia, and then came to the United States. So he's bringing that European style of basketball. But he's got a skill set and a great basketball IQ, and that rounds out Bama's basketball recruiting class. So there you go. Roll Tide, everybody. All right. Hey, that's the show for today. Like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. That's a way of saying Roll Tide. Take advantage of the deals that we have set up for you. And again, comments. I got some hats. I got some calendars to give away. Make sure you put your email address in the post if you want to be considered for that, because that's how I'm going to contact you. But anyway, look, we got 2 things right off the bat to tell you, and one of them is that we're brought to you proudly by our friends over at New Life Art. Our promo code is Bama Tailgate. Do it at the beginning. Hey, where'd you hear about it? Bama Tailgate Show with Nick Gillespie. And then when they get to the end, Bama Tailgate Show gets me 20% off with that promo code at newlifeart.com. Take advantage of it. That's a great deal. Father's Day's coming up. Birthdays are coming up. And I've got my print. I'm putting it right here. You're going to see it. I'll tell you which one it is. It's got Gene Stallings and Jay Barker on it. I'll just give you that little hint right there. It's going to be up there soon. Anyway, the 92 championship print. But I love them all. They're all like children. You can't pick one over the other. Take advantage of it, though. Bama Tailgate. And then Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. Coker and I are going to be down there with Steve Azar in a couple of weeks. We invite you down. Dancing Rabbit Golf Course, the Augusta you can play. I don't know how many times I'm telling you. You go check it out for yourself. Beautiful golf course, multi-million-dollar facility, and you don't need a membership. You just dress right. Just wear, not like this. Wear the golf clothes. Go in there and take care of business. But thank you guys for hanging, and we'll do it again tomorrow. And, of course, we got Shank coming up a couple times this week. Roll Tide, everybody.
To Pearl River Resort.